Hulk Hogan had a lot to say about his spending history after the man had managed to lose what he described as hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, he had been struggling with his finances ever since he lost more than half of his liquid assets and invested assets to his ex-wife Linda during their divorce. But in reality, Hulk was on his way to financial turmoil long before his divorce. In an interview that Hogan did on Good Morning America, he described his situation by saying that there were houses being bought, cars being bought, vacations for family members. And then, when he was talking about his family members, he mentioned there were 8, 9, 10, 11 of them moving into our house, which showed that with his fame, he clearly became the provider for his entire family. None of that was even close to leading the Hulkster to financial stability, and once his money stopped coming in, with the rate that he was spending, all it could do was drain. Then came his divorce from Linda, which led to Hogan needing to give up many of his material goods that he thought were important. He sold many of his exotic cars, as well as a few of his properties that he certainly didn't need, and slowly but surely he started to at least make his way back from the verge of bankruptcy. His financial situation continued to take a turn for the better when Hulk became involved with the Micro Championship Wrestling League, which ended up pulling in an average of 1 million views per week on TV. Hulk helped promote the MCW, as well as other brands that wished to use his images to bring in better sales, all of which resulted in more money for the Hulkster, which he desperately needed. Now, one of the biggest financial gains that ended up helping Hogan out actually came from a negative aspect of the wrestler's life. You see, in 2006, Hulk was filmed having intercourse with a woman named Heather Clem, who happened to be the wife of a close friend of Hogan, Bubba Clem. But according to the wrestler, the relationship that he had with Heather was consensual, and Bubba had actually given him the okay. It turned out to be a trap though, because Hulk Hogan didn't realize that the interaction was being recorded. Hulk would tell Howard Stern on his talk show that he had known about the Clem's alternate lifestyle, and that Heather had been making advances towards him. And according to Hogan, he said, "I was depressed, I gave up and gave in. I felt that those people loved me." Sadly, he could not have been more wrong, and they seemed to only want to take advantage of his celebrity status. 6 years after sleeping with Heather, Hulk Hogan was surprised to discover that an editor for Gawker, named AJ Dualerio, had posted a 2-minute excerpt from a 30-minute tape exposing the wrestler and what he had done with Heather. The 2-minute video included at least 10 seconds of explicit activity. The former wrestler decided to seek justice immediately and originally tried to sue Gawker through the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Florida for copyright infringement. But considering how public Hogan's life was, the judge believed that the tape might fall under fair use, which would make it legal, and therefore the case was thrown out. The Hulkster didn't stop pursuing the lawsuit though, and ended up bringing the case down to the state level, and sued Gawker in Florida State Court instead. The court ordered that Gawker remove the video from their website while the case was going on, but Gawker refused to comply. Though they did eventually remove the video, they just replaced it with links to various other websites that had the tape posted as well. You could tell that they were ready to go to war with Hogan and were taking the lawsuit personally, which is crazy considering that they violated his privacy. This brings us to the trial. During a 2-week trial, a lot of information came out that helped the wrestler's case, including the fact that Bubba Clem admitted to recording the act. Not only that, but he also admitted to saving the recording by burning it onto a DVD, which he apparently labeled Hogan, and just put it into his desk for use at a later date, which helped Hulk prove that he had no idea that he was being recorded. However, the nail in the coffin for Gawker's case for Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against him came when AJ Dualerio, the editor who published the video, was brought to the stand. At first it seemed like he had built a solid case for himself, and was adamant that his posting of Hogan's explicit tape wasn't in any violation of anyone's right. He claimed that it didn't hold any news value, which at first seemed like an immoral but solid argument in the eyes of the court, but was quickly dismissed when a taped deposition of AJ was shown. In the taped deposition, Dualerio said something truly disgusting that made his previous statement meaningless and his judgment more than questionable. AJ was shown answering a question in the deposition, to which he responded by saying that he would consider an explicit celebrity tape to be non-newsworthy, as long as the subject involved was under the age of 4. It may have taken a while, but on March the 18th, 2016, the jury involved in the case ended up ruling in favor of the professional wrestler and ended up awarding him with $115 million in compensatory damages, which included things like emotional distress. It has since been reported that Hogan ended up settling at a lower number with Gawker, in an agreement where they would give him $31 million for the damages, and they would also remove all explicit materials from their website that included anything involving the Hulkster. This settlement, plus the money that Hogan is still pulling in for appearances and any residuals from his career in wrestling, has been enough to pull the man out of his financial hole. And as long as he continues to live a less lavish lifestyle than he had been, he should be just fine. But what do you think? Is there going to be more financial trouble for Hulk Hogan in the future? Make sure you let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss a single upload.